The year is 1874. London is shrouded in fog, gaslight, and secrets, when beautiful but impoverished, Alice Norcat meets the dashing aristocrat Lord Theodore Ashton. Sparks immediately fly between them, but their burgeoning romance is threatened by the rigid class divisions of Victorian England. When Theodore makes Alice an offer she cannot refuse, £500 in exchange for 3 nights with her, she reluctantly agrees. However, what starts out as a purely physical arrangement soon becomes complicated by their undeniable chemistry and the emergence of genuine feelings. As their passionate tryst continues, Alice finds herself torn between her growing love for Theodore and the societal constraints that keep them apart. Meanwhile, Theodore is forced to confront his own prejudices and the hypocrisy of his social class. The couple's illicit affair risks scandalizing London society and jeopardizing both their reputations. As their secret is threatened with exposure, Alice and Theodore must choose between their love for each other and the demands of their world. What will be the outcome of this passionate entanglement? Will they find a way to bridge the gap between their classes? Or will they be torn apart by the rigid rules of Victorian England? This is a tale of forbidden love, societal constraints, and the lengths one would go to for true love. Join us as we bring to life the gripping story of Alice Norcat and Lord Theodore Ashton. Alice Norcat, a young woman of 21 with a heart of gold and a spirit of steel, finds herself in a desperate situation. Her father has recently passed away, leaving her and her mother penniless. With no other options left, Alice seeks out the help of her Aunt Clara, who resides in London. Upon arriving at her aunt's home, Alice meets her cousin, Eliza, who introduces her to the opulent lifestyle of London's elite. Despite the grandeur surrounding her, Alice feels like an outsider, acutely aware of her own poverty. She quickly learns that to survive in this world, she must attract a wealthy suitor. One fateful evening, Alice attends a party hosted by her cousin, where she catches the eye of the dashing and enigmatic Lord Theodore Ashton. Theodore, a man of 32 with a charming demeanor and a roguish past, is instantly captivated by Alice's beauty and grace. He finds himself drawn to her despite the stark contrast in their social backgrounds. As the evening progresses, Theodore and Alice engage in witty banter and deep conversation. Discovering a shared love for literature and art, they find solace in each other's company, sharing intimate moments that ignite a spark between them. As the night draws to a close, Theodore reveals his admiration for Alice, confessing that he has never met a woman like her. He asks for her hand in marriage, hoping to sweep her off her feet and whisk her away to a life of luxury. However, Alice must decide whether she can truly love a man from a different world, or if she will be forever torn between their two vastly different lives. Will their love conquer all obstacles, or will societal pressures tear them apart? As Alice contemplates Theodore's proposal, she is torn between her deep affection for him and the realities of their situation. On one hand, she cannot deny the intense connection she feels with Theodore. His charm, intelligence, and kindness have captured her heart, and she finds herself falling deeply in love with him. However, she is also acutely aware of the vast differences between them. Theodore's world is one of privilege and luxury, while she and her family have struggled with poverty. Moreover, their families have a long history of animosity towards each other, making a potential marriage even more complicated. Despite the challenges, Alice cannot help but hope that Theodore's love for her will prevail over societal norms and familial expectations. She dreams of a future where she can live a life of comfort and security, free from the worries that have plagued her for so long. However, as time passes and the reality of their situation sinks in, Alice must face the possibility that their love may not be enough to overcome the rigid social structures of Victorian England. Will she accept Theodore's proposal and risk everything for love? Or will she choose to protect her family's honor and turn away from her heart's desire? Only time will tell. Meanwhile, Theodore finds himself torn between his love for Alice and his sense of duty to his family and social status. He is head over heels in love with Alice, but he knows that his family would never approve of a marriage with a woman of her social standing. Despite the disapproval he anticipates from his family, Theodore is determined to marry Alice. He believes that true love knows no bounds, and he is willing to defy societal norms to be with her. However, he also understands the importance of considering Alice's feelings and not causing her any unnecessary pain. As the days go by, Theodore grapples with his decision, torn between his love for Alice and his obligations to his family and society. He seeks guidance from his friends, pouring his heart out and seeking their advice. However, their responses only add to his confusion. as many urge him to forget about Alice for the sake of his reputation and future prospects. Despite the pressure he faces, Theodore remains resolute in his determination to marry Alice. He believes that their love is strong enough to overcome any obstacle, and he is willing to fight for their happiness. However, he also knows that he must tread carefully and come up with a plan that will ensure the happiness of both Alice and himself. As the story unfolds, Theodore must confront the realities of his situation and make a choice that will determine the fate of his relationship with Alice. Will he be able to convince his family to accept Alice? Or will he choose to marry her in secret, knowing that it could cost him everything? The path ahead is uncertain, but one thing is clear. Theodore's love for Alice knows no bounds. Desperate for a solution, Alice confides in her Aunt Clara, who suggests a shocking proposition. To secure a wealthy suitor, Clara suggests that Alice enter into a 3-night agreement with Lord Theodore Ashton, who is known for his insatiable appetite for pleasure. Though horrified at the idea, Alice realizes that it may be her only chance at escaping her dire situation. With a heavy heart, she agrees to the arrangement and seeks out Theodore, who is intrigued by the proposition and readily agrees to meet her. At their clandestine meeting, Alice lays out the terms of their deal, stating that she will be at his disposal for 3 nights in exchange for £500. Theodore, though taken aback by Alice's bluntness, is unable to resist her charm and agrees to the terms. As the first night of their arrangement comes to an end, Alice finds herself torn between her feelings for Theodore and the transactional nature of their relationship. She begins to question whether she can continue with the agreement without developing genuine feelings for him. Theodore, too, is caught in a web of his own desires and conflicting emotions. He finds himself falling for Alice's beauty and grace, but he struggles with the guilt of using her for his own gratification. As the second night progresses, Alice and Theodore's connection deepens, leading to passionate encounters that blurred the lines between their agreement. They find solace in each other's company, sharing intimate moments that ignite a spark between them. Despite the passion between them, Alice remains steadfast in her resolve to maintain a strictly physical relationship. She refuses to allow herself to fall in love with Theodore, fearing that it will only make their parting more painful. However, as the third and final night of their agreement approaches, Alice begins to question her decision. She finds herself falling in love with Theodore, despite the societal barriers that keep them apart. Meanwhile, Theodore is torn between his growing love for Alice and his fear of exposing their relationship. He knows that his family and society will never approve of their romance, and he is afraid of the scandal that it could bring upon him. As the clock strikes midnight on the third night, Alice and Theodore are faced with a choice. They can either part ways as nothing more than business associates, or they can choose to pursue a relationship despite the challenges that lie ahead. In a moment of truth, Alice confesses her love for Theodore, breaking the emotional barriers that have kept them apart. Theodore, overwhelmed with emotion, reciprocates his love for Alice, acknowledging that he cannot imagine his life without her. Despite the depth of their love for each other, Alice and Theodore must now face the reality of their situation and the challenges that lie ahead. Their family's disapproval and the rigid societal norms of Victorian England threaten to tear them apart. But will they be able to overcome these obstacles and build a life together, or will they be forced to part ways, sacrificing their love for the sake of appearances and societal expectations? Only time will tell. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this captivating historical romance. If you did, please don't forget to leave us a thumbs up to show your support. Your feedback means everything to us, so please share your thoughts and comments below. We would love to hear what you think of our stories. And if you haven't already, click the subscribe button so you never miss out on our new releases. Once again, thank you for watching. Until next time, happy reading, and we'll see you then.